Hello, dear viewers. I am a global nationalist. I support nationalism in my country, India, and in all countries around the globe. Today, as per my schedule, I will be talking about a South Asian country, and the country today we'll be looking at is Bangladesh. Let's begin. Let me start by talking about the latest news from Bangladesh, which is unfortunately sad that there has been a ISKCON temple attack in Dhaka, and I'll talk about that more here. A mob of over 500 people attacked the ISKCON property on Thursday night when devotees were preparing for Holy Purnima celebrations. The ISKCON Bangladesh members have requested Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India to intervene in the matter and help them, adding that Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was already trying to help them. And here is the communication sent by ISKCON. The medical officer Rasmani Keshav Das told an Indian news agency that we are still scared. Through you, we request your Indian government to help us, and our Bangladesh Prime Minister is also trying to help us. We request both the PMs to help us. Now, he is an eyewitness to the attack and said that one man named Haji Shafiullah had been threatening them for years to leave the temple premises. He had offered us money too. One of his men, Ishraf Sufi, had even given us life threats. Keshav Das told news agency ANI, adding that the two led the mob of 500 to 600 people on Thursday night and vandalized the boundary wall of the temple. According to ISKCON, the property is a 10-minute walk from their main temple in Dhaka. The men tried to forcibly occupy a parcel of land owned by ISKCON Bangladesh adjacent to the smaller temple on Lal Mohan Sahaj Street. We were using the land for storage and plan to develop it in the future. And unfortunately, these people attacked them. And um, now, an interesting thing about this is that some people are saying that this was merely a property dispute. For example, the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council, which investigated the incident, described a wall falling at the ISKCON temple by a mob as the result of a long festering property dispute with locals. Now, this is an explanation that is more like a half truth. It's not a full truth, but also not a total lie. It's true that these two men were claiming, these two men, Ishraf Sufi and Haji Safiullah, were claiming that this property was theirs and they were wanting the Hindus and ISKCON to leave, that this has been going on for years. So, based on that, it seems like a simple property dispute. However, the fact that not only were they uh, being told to leave the temple premises, they also destroyed the boundary wall of the temple, and they made this attack on the eve of Holi, which is uh, some evidence that this was, if not wholly, but at least in part, uh, motivated by religious animosity towards Hindus, Hinduphobia, in other words. So I don't think that this is a full explanation, and I think that the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council needs to investigate further. And the fact that, uh, as it says in Times of India, 500 to 600 people could gather around to attack this temple wall is evidence that it has a very high emotive factor, which most time property disputes can't inspire. So yeah, of course, once the investigation continues, I may be proven wrong, but I doubt it. The reason is that as the Ramachandra Das from the ISKCON Kolkata chapter, he is the vice president of that chapter, as he told the PTI of India that there should be long term visible steps to ensure that minorities, including Hindus, are not subjected to regular attacks and their places of worship vandalized. He says that this is a trend that has been going on for long time, for quite some time recently, during important festivals like Durga Puja and last and to this year on Holi Purnima, there were attacks against Hindus by Islamic fundamentalists. And he says that now temples of minorities require police protection for the Hindus who do their puja. And he's wondering how long can this situation continue, which is a valid question. And an interesting thing that the general secretary of the Hindu Buddhist Christian Parishad, the Bangla name for Bangladeshi Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council, uh, the general secretary named Ran Dasgupta, who visited the spot on March 18th, told PTI that there had been a long-standing boundary wall dispute. But he also says that a mob of 100 to 150 assembled at the temple area and the boundary wall caved in, but they don't know how. He says now it is for you to conclude whether this was an incident triggered by land dispute or there were communal overtones to it. So this shows that the this unity council, they have not completely made up their mind and want more information, and that there is a quite loud, long, large possibility that this was a communal attack. This is a very worrying trend in Bangladesh, the regular attacks against Hindus. Now, I'm not blaming all Bangladeshi Muslims for this because it's not true. In fact, last year, when there were several attacks against Hindu temples and Hindu individuals, many protests in Bangladesh by Bangladeshi Muslims and Hindus and other communities were held against this violence. And the Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who is part of the secular party called the Awami League, said that they would take action against these people. And since last October, there was not much heavy communal violence, at least nothing to the extent that it would be reported in India. So if there was violence, it was very minor, and perhaps there was no violence. But my point is that things did improve, but unfortunately, it seems that there is another attack, and hopefully, this doesn't result in further attacks on the Hindu community. Now, I'm not sure how Bangladesh can solve this issue because it is a very intimate issue for the Bangladeshi people because it is caused by their identity crisis. Are they people who speak Bengali or are they a Muslim Islamic country? They haven't yet decided how to merge these two. I think that they have to go with the Bangladeshi idea. That is a much stronger emotive binding factor amongst the people, and it was how Bangladesh was founded in the 1970s. And I think that they need to make Islam as a religion, not the state religion of Bangladesh, but simply another religion as a private religion. And now, next year in 2023, there will be elections, and Sheikh Hasina is going to be up for re election along with her party. She has won the previous few elections, and the opposition, which is an Islamic party, um, I'll just find the party name. The opposition party in Bengal is called the Bangladeshi Nationalist Party, and its ideology is Bangladeshi nationalism, national conservatism, social conservatism, economic liberalism, and Islamic democracy. And Sheikh Hasina's party, the Awami League, which translates to the Bangladeshi People's League, its ideology is economic liberalism, social liberalism, liberalism, social democracy, Bengali nationalism, secularism, socialism, Mujibism. No, I am not a Bangladeshi citizen, so I have no direct stake in this election next year, and I am not affiliated to either party. And yeah, so I'm not being pressured to say any of this, but in my personal opinion, I think the Awami League ideology has some better points than the Nationalist Party of Bangladesh, although that also has some good points. But I mainly agree with the Awami League. I support their ideologies, which include economic liberalism, social liberalism, and liberalism in general, Bengali nationalism, and secularism. And I like their ideology of Mujibism, which uh, the leader of the liberation movement of Bangladesh, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, created as an ideology. It includes nationalism, socialism, democracy, and secularism. So, because it includes nationalism, Bengali nationalism, I support the Awami League. However, there are some parts of the Bangladeshi Nationalist Party's ideology that I agree with. Here, their ideology includes Bangladeshi nationalism, national conservatism, social conservatism, economic liberalism, Islamic democracy. Here, Bangladeshi nationalism, it is something I support also because it's nationalism and I support nationalism always. And the Awami League also supports nationalism, but there's a difference. The Awami League nationalism is called Bengali nationalism. It is a form of nationalism that focuses on Bengalis as a singular nation. The people of Bengali ethnicity speak Bengali language. Bengalis mostly live across Bangladesh and the Indian states of West Bengal, Tripura, Assam, and Jharkhand. The Bangladeshi nationalism is an ideology that promotes the territorial identity of Bangladeshis. The ideology emerged during the late 1970s, popularized by former Bangladesh President Ziaur Rahman. And yeah, so it's basically nationalism of just Bangladeshis. And although I find both to be good, but I find Bangladeshi nationalism better because it's limited to within its own country and is not connected to uh, ethnicity, a common ethnicity, people of which live in other countries as well, such as India. So I think that's better. And I also support conservatism that concentrates on upholding national and cultural identity, I think that's a good thing, and I'm glad that they both agree on economic liberalism. However, I just find the Awami League to be more secular and a safer party for the minorities. And as far as I know, there has not any minority appeasement by the Awami League. They are treating all Bangladeshis as equal citizens. And yeah, so both parties have their good points, but I support um, the Sheikh Hasina's Awami League party just a little more. And I hope they win next year's election. However, even if they don't, I still believe that Bangladesh can maintain at least, if not all, at least some of their secular features of the country, and that their minority citizens and majority citizens can live in peace. But if that happens, if the Bangladeshi Nationalist Party does win, it'll be difficult to maintain communal harmony. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I wish good luck to the the Bangladeshi people next year, and hope that the best party wins. If you want to watch other videos about South Asia, click on the playlist here. If you want to watch my most recent video, click on the video here. And if you want to see the sources I use for this video, click the links in the description below. Thank you for watching. Vande Mataram.